This is the oldest tank that I have. It's been set up for more than 20 years. It was originally set up to hold Variatus plates with a petrified wood type aquascape. Since that time, it has really grown over. It was originally set up as a mostly with crypts, but it's since been taken over by Anubias. I guess over 20 years, the Anubias dominates. So the Pleiades did really well in it. I gave away quite a few of them when I was in Calgary. You can see that it still looks pretty good. Like I've taken a lot of Anubias out of this tank, given it away or sold it. And it's a pretty good tank for Anubias production. It's a 15 gallon. There's an internal power filter on it, which you can't see, which I'm happy with, and a um, and there's a heater in this one too because there's more warmish water fish in it. But it's housed a lot of different things over the years. My wife's cousin Melissa took care of it for 4 years, where we just moved to Edmonton, and she did a great job. The Anubias took over at that point, and she eventually it started leaking on her, so she bought another glass. It still has the same scape, but she bought a new aquarium for it and gave it back to us. This tank is pretty cool because it's actually got the original gravel from the tank that I got when I was 10 years old. So it was reused, mixed with some sand. When it first started out, it was dirted with all those crypts in there, but since that point, that all that dirt's been washed out. It was burnt out from the crypts at the beginning, but it's since all been washed out of there, and it's just a sand and gravel substrate. But the Anubias does really well in it, so I've kind of left it like that. The current inhabitants are Sumo loach that you can see in the middle there, which is fairly fairly focused on shrimp pellets, which I put in to get everybody out of there. And I've had that one, and there's another female in there and a male. You'll probably see the male a little bit later here. The neon tetras are about 7 years old too, so those ones are about 7. Um, then there's the Ember Tetras are kind of a new addition. I've had them in there for a couple of years. It used to be, you can see there is a Rathbun's bloodfin in there. Yeah, you can see her right in the middle. She was one of the younger ones that I put in there. I had a few males in there. They're quite an impressive species. The males really display to each other. So I had those in there for quite a while, but they've since died out. They lived 3 or 4 years though. They did pretty good. You can see the little male sumo loach now. He's trying to get a bit of the shrimp pellets. The female's not going to like that. No, he's out of there. He's been evacuated from the shrimp pellet scene. But this tank has done really well and really stable. And the neons, like they're 7 years old. That's the longest I've been able to keep neons. It looks like they're all males now. I had females in there for quite some time. I think I started out with, I don't know, 9 or 10 of them. And I think there's 5 left in there. There's a couple more that kind of set in the back. They're quite a bit more territorial. There's quite a few shrimp in here. You can probably see them kicking around at various points here from the start of the video. Should be able to see a few in the Anubias, I'm sure. But they've reproduced and done okay. But I think with the sumo loaches in there, they are pretty hard on shrimplets. So any shrimp that survives in this tank is hanging out in the top, mixed amongst the Anubias. So if they come down when they're small enough to eat, I think the sumo loaches take them out pretty quick. But it's been a really great tank, and it's, you know, one of my favorites to watch, that's for sure, especially with the sumo loaches. And that's my oldest tank. Happy fish keeping.